just going back to the community part a little bit, it sounds like that when you started the project, there was a big organic growth because people were very excited about what you were doing. Everyone had ideas and use cases for it. I would assume that it must have felt overwhelming after a little while, like you're being welcoming and friendly and saying that, oh, this is great, bring your stuff. But then how do you coordinate a release? How you're making sure that what goes into whatever new version you're putting out that is usable, consistent. And these days, we're still using words like backwards compatible and providing a good user experience onwards. So how hard was that to start to coordinate with all the people who almost instantly showed up and said, "This is cool. I wanna do stuff here too."
Yeah, so initially, and it is hard to coordinate all that. And so initially, it was emailing people, and then we tried to put stuff back onto Usenet, right? Usenet was the discussion board at the time. And so we used one of the groups. We did a lot of stuff there. And so we talk about FreeDOS stuff in that group. And then eventually our maintainer, our project coordinator at the time was M. Hamilton. And I think he's the one who set up the first mailing list that we had. And that is really where we had our conversations. And so we still have a mailing list today. Probably one of the few projects that still relies on a mailing list, as opposed to,
Linux.
Yeah, I know.
Still there.
Do they really? Are there still a mailing list? Oh,
LKML still there.
All right. And so, yeah, so mailing list, we have discussions on the mailing list. And so somebody's like, hey, I just learned about this project and I have a program that I use and I think it's kind of cool. And so we kind of talk about it there. And the challenge is that in any kind of mailing list, once you get any kind of size on the group, you really can't shoot for 100% agreement, right? You can say, oh, so-and-so has this new program. Can you add it to FreeDOS? And you're never going to get the entire group say, oh, yes, let's do that. Or no, that's not a good thing. That's not something we should add. You're never going to get 100% agreement. So we really kind of went for, what's the consensus of the group, right? Or, as we talk about it, it's like, are we hearing more yeses than nos? And so, okay, then that's probably enough. We'll just add it to the distribution.
Rough consensus in running code. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and always with the plan of like, well, if we need to, we can just take it out later if we don't decide no one's using it, and that ends up by the way being really hard to take stuff out. But you try to have that conversation on the mailing lists, and over time, the mailing list changed to eventually move to SourceForge for their mailing lists. But you still have conversations on the mailing list, and over time as people kind of leave the project and you start to have a little fewer people in the project, and we still have a certain number of people that are still active, but it's a lot less than it was, let's say, in 2000. You still need to talk about things, but now you don't need as many lists, right? So we used to have like 4 or 5 email lists, and now we're down to 2. One that's FreeDOS user, which is explicitly or only for people who want to ask questions about FreeDOS and how do I use this or how do I do that or how do I set it up on whatever. And so that's a great FreeDOS user question. If you're a developer, if you're working on a program, you need help on something, or you want to really announce a new program, then we have a mailing list called FreeDOS Devel, and that's a great place to announce your program. But also you have to recognize that not everyone's going to go to a mailing list. I mean, especially it's 2024, right? So there are other places that people are going to have conversations. And so there's a certain amount of like chasing the people where they are, right? So I think it would be bad for a project to say, thou shalt not talk about this anywhere else except on our email list. You do need to go where people are, right? And so we have a very vibrant Facebook group where people are talking about things that they're doing with FreeDOS. We'll ask questions about FreeDOS. We have a lot of people talking about it there. We have a Faucedon where if we announce something, we'll put it out there. Not a lot of conversation on Faucedon. And there's another web forum, which is unrelated to FreeDOS, but a lot of FreeDOS conversation happens because it's a forum about DOS. And so people will talk about stuff there and even sometimes announce projects over there without being a member of our email list. And so if you want to announce stuff on the website because somebody has made something that we use, you need to be part of those forums and pay attention to them. And so in terms of where we talk about FreeDOS, it does move around a little bit. It's not a constant, like we will only talk about it on the mailing list.